Tell me the reason why you came back from school late.
But that is wrong English, Dad.
What? I beg your pardon? What do you mean by that?
It is wrong to use the words the reason why at the same time. But it is right to say, why did I come late? Or what is the reason I came late? Because it is tautology to say the reason why at the same time.
It's all right. What do you mean by tautology?
Tautology is the needless or unnecessary repetition of an idea, statement, or word.
Let me ask you this question. Is why not an English word?
Yes, it is.
It's reason, not an English word.
Yes, it is.
Then what difference does it make?
It makes a lot of difference, Dad. Because you cannot make use of both British and American English word at the same time to form your own Nigerian English word.
Oh! I don't understand. What do you mean by Nigerian English words?
It is the one you have just spoken, of course. The reason why. And so many of them, like the British will say extreme, American will say end, but Nigeria will combine the two and say extreme end.
Oh.
Another one is that the British will say knicker, American will say short, but Nigerian will combine the two and say short knicker. Another one is that the British will say salon, American will say barber shop, but Nigeria will add them together and say barbing salon. Another one is that the British will say bend, American will say corner, Nigeria will combine the two and say bending corner. This very common one is that the British will say so, American will say therefore, Nigeria will combine the two and say so therefore. Another one is that the British will say henceforth, American will say from now on, Nigeria will combine the two and say from now henceforth. British will say still, American will say yet, Nigeria will combine the two and say still yet. The British will say reverse, American will say turn back, Nigeria will combine the two and say reverse back. Very common is that the British will say should, American will say in case, Nigeria will combine the two and say should in case. The very common one which you have just spoken is that the British will say tell me the reason, American will say tell me why, Nigeria will combine the two and say tell me the reason why. The British will say £10 each, American will say $10 each, Nigeria will say 10 naira each. The British will say free, American will say gift, Nigeria will combine the two and say free gift. The British will say ATM, American will say machine, Nigeria will combine the two and say ATM machine.
So you tell me, between the British English and American English, which do we follow in this matter now?
You can follow any of them, of course, but don't make use of them at the same time.
But let me ask you something. If British could have their own English words and American could have their own as well, what is wrong if Nigeria form their own from the both? To have their own. What is with Nigeria? Africans. What is wrong if Africans will have from the both?
In the field of standard English communication, it is wrong to use tautology, Dad.
Whenever you visit UK, speak your own British to them. Whenever you visit US, speak Americans to them. But now that you are in Africa, speak like an African.
And what if I choose not to speak like that?
Because the best way to communicate for people's understanding is to use the words that they are familiar with. And above all, choose the best way to correct the African spoken English. Do you understand me? Because it is not everybody you correct that you think you go for free. They'll end up you up. Your brain is no longer like this brain. What is in this brain now? If they open it for you to see, you will run. So your brain is still fresh. There's nothing in it yet. So don't compete it with what we have here. Because what we have here is the reason you are living. You are feeding. You are clothing. You are living healthy like this. So he's thinking so many things. Not how to speak good English or... See, be careful. Whenever you meet your peer group, speak your own standard English. Whenever you are with me as your father, speak the language that I understand. There's nothing wrong if I speak the reason why. When I spoke it, didn't you understand it? Get inside and do something for me, my friend.